the Soul Mirror where truth meets transformation. I am your host, Shreya, and today we are joined by Zoey Kyriacou, a powerhouse therapist, anxiety slayer, ADHD strategist, and founder of Mastermind Counseling. Zoe specializes in helping high functioning adults who seem fine on the outside but are fighting silent battles within. She is here to crack open the illusion of having it all together and show us how to reclaim our mental space, one boundary at a time. So, welcome, Zoe. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to talk and share and hopefully reach people with some great information.
Yes, definitely, Zoe. And Zoe, many people silently carry the weight of looking okay while
Yes.
feeling anything, but uh, why do you think this pattern is so common for high functioning adults?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's multifactorial, right? So I think there's a desire to look great from the outside, right? To look like you're really holding it together, you're functioning well, um, get through your workday, be productive, right? There's such a huge emphasis in the Western world on productivity, right? You have to have outcomes, you have to have results. So people over time tend to tie their worthiness to being a productive human being, right? If I'm outputting, then I must be doing okay. So we've got that. And then we have so that's kind of like the professional academic world, right? Where we're this really productive human being, but that then carries into our personal life as well, where for many people, particularly the clients that I work with, there's a desire to meet the needs of all the people around us. So am I being a good daughter or a good son? Am I being a good spouse? Am I meeting the needs of my partner? Am I being a great parent? Are my kids okay? And so we put a lot of emphasis on the emotional needs of others to the point where we're almost anticipating their needs. And then we deprioritize ourselves and we keep doing that year after year. Right. So it looks great, right? It looks great from the outside. Look, my family is together. We're great. We're awesome. You know, he's going to karate. She's going to dance, right? Everybody looks so good. The homework is done. But I'm silently suffering on the inside because I'm anticipating everything I need to do constantly to the point that I'm anxious. And it's a problem. Yeah.
Definitely. And thank you for sharing this with our listeners. And I think that resonates so deeply, especially in a world that glorifies the resilience over rest. And also, is there a cost to this constant performance? And how can someone tell when it is time to seek help?
That's a great question. I think we've gotten to the point for many people where they're seeking help. Okay, the good news is that more and more people are seeking help. Yay, right? People are coming to therapy finally. So that's amazing. Part of the problem for some people is they're waiting just a little bit too long to the point where they're symptomatic. They're burning out. The anxiety is now so physiological, right? They're coming in and they're saying, I'm getting palpitations. My heart is racing. My thoughts are spiraling. I can't sleep at night anymore. I'm staring at the ceiling and I'm just worrying. Um, they're getting angry and irritable in their personal life, which is not congruent for who they truly are, right? They're not angry, irritable people. They're lovely. They're wonderful. They're so sweet. Um, but they've had it. They've had it. So how do we get people to come in sooner than that, almost preventatively? And there's a little bit of a barrier to that sometimes because insurance companies don't necessarily want people doing preventative things, right? They, especially as a clinician, we have to, but if we're processing a person's session through insurance, the insurance company typically wants a diagnosis on session one. Right. So they want to establish medical necessity, but by the time the person has come out of medical necessity, we're dealing with a really symptomatic person. It's tough. It's conflicting a little bit, right? Because we want them to come in much sooner than that.
Yes, yes. This is absolutely true and wonderful that you have just beautifully explained that. And also, let's talk about ADHD in adults. So, what are some signs that often go unnoticed, especially in women or high achievers?
Yeah. So women will oftentimes present a bit differently than men, and it's not a total generalization, but we can kind of say that a lot of the times they'll present differently. So men may present with especially in childhood, hyperactivity and maybe some impulsivity, right? Whereas women present a little bit more inattentive, right? It might be like, "Hey, are you paying attention?" Right? And it's like, "Oh, Susie is spaced out." Well, Susie is not spaced out. She's having a hard time. Okay. So those are some differences that we might see really early on, but then as we get into adulthood, what we truly have presenting clinically is what we would call motivation dysregulation, where the person has all wonderful intentions of getting through their day, finishing projects that they started, especially our younger folks that are still in college. They want to do their assignments, they want to hand in their reports on time. Who doesn't? Right? Everybody wants to be successful and do well. So, what we see is motivation dysregulation, where I want to do the thing, I really desire to complete it, but my brain is kind of on pause. My brain is sort of not letting me do this thing. And while it might be easy enough to say to somebody that just presents with anxiety, "Hey, you're avoiding because you're anxious. I need you to just do that first step, and then your brain will see that this is safe." With the person that has ADHD, telling them, "Hey, just do it," is more challenging because we have a neurogenetic issue here, right? We've got a chemistry issue here. The brain is in fact different. This isn't just a lazy person. This is somebody who's dysregulated. So we have to build in structure for that person. But women, especially, so just to come back to your point a little bit, it starts to get tricky with women, especially in their 40s and 50s, where they're now perimenopausal or menopausal. And now we have sex hormones affecting brain chemistry. And now it can be really difficult to know what the heck we're looking at. Are we looking at your hormones? Are we looking at true ADHD? Anxiety, depression, all of it. So that's where we need some, multidiscipline. We need the therapist. Maybe we need a psychiatrist to weigh in. Maybe the gynecologist might also weigh in. So it's important to have a good team.
Yes, so definitely. And you were just normalizing something many people have carried in secret, and that's so powerful to do. And also, how can a person begin to work with their brain instead of against it once they recognize those signs?
Yeah, it's so important, right? We want to be strengths based, we want to be positive, and we want to be structured, right? So with ADHD, there can be some time blindness, right? It can be difficult to perceive time the same way that a neurotypical person perceives the passing of time. And the working memory is also dysregulated. So, knowing that, what we have to do, so for a neurotypical, they can kind of assess the passing of time, and they can also kind of keep track of things with their working memory and know I've got to do this first, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? Over the week, let's say.
Mm.
With somebody with ADHD, that can be really challenging. So we push time in. And what I mean by that is we have to get really good at having clocks, watches, timers, alarms, planners, calendars, whiteboards, to-do lists. And that's how we start to make time feel more concrete. We start to make it feel more real because we're surrounded by time. And I know that can sound really daunting for somebody at first. Zoe, you want me to have clocks and watches and alarms? Yes, I do. In the beginning, I want you to have a couple of things. But over time, you'll find the one thing that really sticks for you. For me, even though I am a neurotypical person, I do the phone calendar combined with a planner, an agenda. I have to have those, and every room has a clock in it. So
Yeah.
we have to find the thing that sticks, and we have to make time. We have to be able to feel it almost.
Yes, definitely. And we just say that's so beautiful. And thank you for sharing this with our listeners and all this
Absolutely.
knowledge and experiences of yours. This is so beautiful. And
Thank you.
also, boundaries are a hot topic, but
Yeah.
often misunderstood. What does boundary setting really look like in practice, especially for people pleasers?
Oh man, I love boundaries. The reason I'm very passionate about it, and the reason is what I've discovered over time is that when people are coming in and they're saying, Zoe, I'm so anxious, kind of like I mentioned before, what they're doing is they're carrying the weight of the world on themselves, right? They're in this chronic state of anticipating the needs of others, not thinking that they're enough the way they are, thinking that they need to go above and beyond so that the other person feels okay, right? I don't want him to be mad at me. I don't want her to be sad with me. If I say that, will she be upset? If I do that, will he not talk to me anymore? Right. So people are living in this sort of chronic state of almost worrying about the emotions of other people. And so they do things that don't feel aligned for them, right? So once we start to recognize, hey, maybe this isn't all on me, we want to start setting boundaries. So, first, let me tell you what boundaries are not. Boundaries are not setting rules for other people, right? So, it's not telling a person what to do and then hoping that they do it. You can try that, right? I'm not stopping you from trying that. Please, by all means, if you want to tell somebody, hey, when you talk to me like that, that hurts my feelings, you could say that. Please don't talk to me that way. That hurts my feelings. That's setting a rule. Whether they follow it or not, you can't control. It's out of your control. Setting a boundary sounds more like, and this is kind of like an internal process. I know that I'm worthy of being spoken to in a kind way, and so moving forward, when someone speaks to me that way, I will remove myself. I will hang up the phone or I will not respond to that text. And the reason why those two things are different is one of those things is out of our control. And the other one, the boundary setting, is in our control. I can control if I walk away from somebody that's not talking to me very nicely. I can control if I hang up the phone and say, I'm sorry, I don't like the way you're speaking to me. I'm going to end this conversation. So, boundaries are a behavioral and mindset shift that is personal and individual, not external.
Definitely. And this is so necessary for I think everyone and I think most of the people because also I have a friend who is like if someone behaves so toxic with her or behaves so rudely or arrogantly with her, she is and she doesn't do anything or just not uh like just you have said go off from there, she just being too kind and then she herself thinks that am I the one because of what they are behaving like this. So it's so important to know your self-worth and to set boundaries that I think not many people talk about, but thank you for sharing this. And also, how can someone enforce the boundary without feeling guilt or fear or rejection?
So that's a great point because in the beginning, when we're trying to overcome the fact, maybe we realize, oh boy, I think I'm a people pleaser. I think I have porous boundaries, right? My boundaries kind of have some holes in them. It can be challenging to start setting the boundaries because we're not used to it. And there is a potential for the other people outside of us who have gotten used to the fact that we have some mushy boundaries to not like it. And so that sweet, kind person that has been people pleasing all this time can be a little scared to set the boundaries. And so what I tell people is it is okay if others get angry with you. It is okay if others don't agree with you. And it is your job to tolerate the discomfort of that, and it will pass, right? You're not going to be uncomfortable forever, but
Yes.
will you have to tolerate some discomfort of somebody being unhappy with you? Yes, but it's your job to tolerate that. It's their job to process their anger or upset with you. It's not your job to go fix it by saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Tolerate the discomfort. You will ride through it.
Yes. And that step from guilt to groundedness is where the real growth begins, I think. And also, let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety is so often internalized as weakness. How do you help your clients reframe it? And what surprising truths does anxiety reveal about someone's inner world?
Yeah. So I like to take anxiety slow. um, I like to do a lot of psychoeducation. I like for my clients to understand what's happening in their mind and body first because knowledge is power. Once I can start to understand what's happening inside of me, I can start to overcome, right? So first things first, I like to give a little analogy using a bear in the woods where I tell my clients sometimes it feels like there's a bear coming to get you. And in that scenario, let's say God forbid we were in that scenario where a bear was coming to get us, right? Our body would go into a fight or flight mode, but we're designed that way physiologically, right? It's going to save your life, hopefully. You go into fight or flight and maybe it'll save you, right? You might start sweating, your palms might feel clammy, maybe your heart is racing, maybe your tummy feels upside down, but we're outfitted that way for survival. What we have to recognize in everyday life when there isn't a bear behind us, maybe it's our boss giving us a project that we need to finish. Maybe our professor said, I never got your homework. I really need you to hand it in so you can get credit for it. Maybe it's our mom and dad saying, your curfew is 11, not 12, something like that. There isn't a bear behind you. You are safe. You have to tell your brain that it is safe. So we've got to work on the thoughts that we are thinking. That is huge, major, major, major. The way that you're thinking is impacting your emotional outcome. So if your boss wants that project by the end of the day and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do it. She's going to fire me. What do you think your body's going to do? Your body doesn't know the difference between a bear in the woods and your boss just needing a simple project done. So the way that we're thinking about things is critically important to our emotional outcomes. So we've got that. That's huge, huge, huge. The second part of it is, hey, you got to relax your nervous system. It's time to do the meditation, the mindfulness practice, the mindful walk, maybe a mindful journal practice, some box breathing, some EFT tapping, right? We need a combination approach here. The way that you're thinking, super important. The way that you're treating your inner body, also really important. We've got to get you down, back grounded to safety. You are safe, by the way. We just need to tell your brain that you are safe.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's such a compassionate reframe that seeing anxiety as a data and not danger. And
Yeah.
also, our bosses and our mothers, I think, might be safe than the bears.
Yeah.
Of like
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yeah. And when we're in that state of worry, where we're what ifing, what if this happens? What if that happens? Remember, it is an illusion of control. You're not actually changing any outcomes by worrying. All you're doing is taking away from your present moment. You're losing your moment right now, and your moment right now is incredibly precious. It's very precious.
Definitely. And you have explained such a complex topic so easily. And also, let's talk about your mastermind coaching. So, you are now building mastermind coaching alongside your
Yeah.
therapy practice. What gap are you hoping to bridge with this second venture?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, Mastermind Counseling is our uh, a group practice here in New Jersey. I'm the sole owner, and I have some wonderful, amazing therapists that work for me. And we do a lovely job of taking care of people that are residing in New Jersey, United States. That being said, because counseling is limited by insurance and licensing laws and things like that, it's tough to reach people that might want to work with me outside of that. So if you're somewhere else in the world and you'd really like to work with me, well, now we've got Mastermind Coaching. And so the difference here is we're not going to be worrying about symptoms and diagnoses. Make sure if you're going into coaching that some of those things are already being addressed, that you're already in a well state. So we're not going to be doing diagnoses and treatment plans in that sort of traditional therapy type of way. We're going to be doing more solution focused behavioral activation things. Maybe you need help with your goals and accountability. This is the spot to do it. Maybe you need help with that assertiveness and empowerment so you can get your boundaries stronger. We're going to come up with practical ways to start applying that in your life and your relationships. Or perhaps you do have ADHD and you're in a decent place with it, but you just need to brush up that those executive functioning skills, that working memory, the time management. So hoping to kind of bridge the gap a little bit for people that want to access, but aren't in New Jersey.
Yes, this is a wonderful initiative that you have taken, and that kind of proactive healing work could be the future of mental health, and you are already leading the charge. And
Thanks.
this is a
Hope so.
wonderful session with you, and you are a wonderful person. And thank you for sharing all your plethora of knowledges and experiences. And if after this my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
Love that. Yeah. So we've got a couple avenues. You can find me mastermindcounseling.com. So www.mastermindcounseling.com. And you'll find information about coaching on there too. And there's contact buttons and forms and things like that. My phone number is on there as well. You can find me on Instagram at Your Therapy Godmother. Or you could also email me at Zoey@mastermindcounseling.com.
Yes, and I will make sure to attach all the details and links below so that the listeners can find them easily and get in touch with you and have a beautiful conversation with you, because you're a wonderful person and you are really a therapy godmother.
Oh,
The
thank
knowledge you
you.
have and experience you have, it's really worth the name. And to my listeners, the first thing is, Joey, thank you for giving voice to the unspoken struggles and showing us that healing isn't about looking fine, it's about feeling free. And to my listeners, if you are nodding alone to this episode, know that you are not alone. You don't have to carry it all alone. It's time to choose clarity over coping, peace over perfection. Your soul deserves nothing less. So, till next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and listen to the soul mirror.